Hi guys, thanks for joining me on Making with Marilyn. On today's video, I'm going to take a canvas panel that I bought today at the Dollar Tree store. Now this brand is called Crafter Square. They had two brands there today. They had the Crafter Square and they had another one that was Artist something. I don't remember the second word of it, but I got this one. They were pretty much identical, both 8 by 10, both $1. Now I'm going to make an Easter sign on this, and I want the colors to be really bright, and I want them to mainly be greens. I'm going to do just kind of a marbledy textured look, and I have 3 colors of green, and I have 1 brown. I don't know that I'll use that. I don't know that I'll use this darker Kelly green. I'm going to see what it looks like with kiwi and green tea. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some lines of the green tea and this kiwi. So this was the kiwi. And this is the green tea. I don't like my backgrounds to be exactly solid. And so if you mix up some colors on your canvas, that can make a nice effect. Now I'm going to need to turn it a little bit sideways because I'm sitting off to the side. What I do when I'm doing this is I just start, you can start in the middle or the bottom, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to start in the middle. Just go back and forth. And it gives just a gorgeous little effect. Okay, so hopefully you can see that it's not just one solid color. You have some streakiness in it, and that's exactly what I want. I don't want you to look at it and go, wow, that's stripes, but I do want you to notice that there's more than one color in it so it doesn't look so flat. Let me paint the edges. Now I don't want this Kelly green to take over my look, but I do want to see what it looks like when I add a little bit of this. I expect to do a second coat, and so I really like the look now, but I want to see what depth I can add if I add just a little bit of that. If I don't like it, I'm painting over a second coat anyway, so the first coat is time to experiment. And I want just a little bit, and what I'm going to do is just put some little streaks on. And you do have to be careful where you put your fingers because that will show, so you want to try to hold it from the bottom. Doesn't always work out so well. Now when you're doing this, if you want just subtle streaks like this, do not have a heavy do not have a heavy hand. Be very light-handed. Okay, so I don't know how well that shows up in the camera, but I do have some slightly darker streaks from the Kelly green, and that's all I want. I don't want it to be all the way Kelly green. I just wanted to add a little bit of depth. So I'm going to set that down, let that dry, see if I feel like I need a second coat of the paints or not. If I do, I'll add that. If I don't, we'll just move on with what we're going to add to the top. Okay, so I let this dry for about an hour, and while I really like the look of it, it is not opaque enough yet. You can see some of the white of the canvas behind it. So I'm going to need to do a second coating. And I'm going to do it like I did the last one. Okay, it's sliding around a lot. Hopefully that doesn't look too bad in the video. I just don't want to grab the top of it. Now I'm not concerned that the sides don't have a second coating. Take a little bit more of this Kelly green. I don't want a lot. I want to knock off as much of it as I think I need to knock off, which is most of it. Okay, let me just keep working it. And this dries pretty quickly, so you want to work quickly. There, push it against my thumb, and that way it doesn't jump around as much. Okay, I think one of the hardest things to figure out when you're doing anything like this is when to stop. And I like this a lot, so I'm going to stop. Well, I say that. I see something up here I don't like. Let's get that. Okay. So now I'm going to let this go ahead and dry. There, I had a little piece of something on the front. I'm going to let this dry. I'll let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow we will put the design on it. Okay, here's my design, and I want to point out a couple things. You might see this little white piece going all the way around the green. That is going to cut with my white layer and is going to help me know where to place my words, my bunny, all that. And then I have this little brown piece down here, and that's going to help me place my cross. I could have done my brown all the way around, but I didn't want to waste all this brown vinyl up here that I would have weeded out. Now, I have not done the attach function yet, and I want to show you what would happen if I sent this to the maker without doing that. See, it just puts the white stuff where it wants to. So let's cancel that cut. I need to select all of my white things. The first thing I want to do is just hide my green rectangle. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on the cross and the brown corner piece, and I'll click attach. And then I'm going to select all of my white things. I think I can go over here. Okay, so I have the two brown things attached. I have everything else highlighted in dark gray, so I think they're all good. I'll click attach. Now let's do a reality check and see. Click make it. Excellent. So all my white things are on one mat, and then here's my brown things on the other mat. So let's start with my white mat. I'm going to mirror the design because I'm using heat transfer vinyl. I'll click continue. I'm just using something that I can cut on everyday iron-on. That's cut off, but it says everyday iron-on, so I'll click that. Now it tells me make sure mirror is turned on, and it is. I'm using default pressure. I have my fine point blade in clamp B, so we're ready to go ahead and cut it. Now when I get to my brown mat, I will have to change the cut setting because it's actually a foil. And I think that might require a little more pressure. I'm not sure, but I want to use the foil setting so that my Cricut Maker knows exactly what to do. I'm going to use this white HTV that I got off of Amazon, and I can link to that in the description. I tend to put labels on my products so that I know how long and at what temperature to put them on, and then whether it's a cold peel, a hot peel, or a warm peel. Since I'm doing this on painted wood, I'm not going to actually go the full 10 seconds. So I'll turn it over. This is the carrier sheet side, and this is the vinyl that I want to cut through. If you aren't sure which is which, you can take something sharp and just kind of jab on the corner. If it pokes through easily, that is your heat transfer vinyl. The carrier sheet, at least on the heat transfer vinyls I've used, the carrier sheet is much stronger and it doesn't poke through nearly as easily. My machine is flashing, telling me it's time to load my material. I have my fine point blade in clamp B. I'll make sure it's clean. All right, and we are ready for the fun. Now you might have noticed that I use a strong grip mat, but this is a very old and worn out strong grip mat, and so it's fine for purposes of this vinyl. I would not use a new strong grip mat with this vinyl. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut along right below the bottom of my design. And then let's go ahead and get the other mat ready. Now this one I actually marked through. I need to do that on the one I just used. This will be for my brown layer. So let me go ahead and change my brown layer to the correct setting. I'm changing it from everyday iron-on. I'm going to browse, and then I will type the word foil. It is a Cricut brand foil. And so I see foil iron-on. I'll select that, click done. Now I also need to mirror this image, otherwise the placement of my little L down in the corner is going to be in the wrong place. So I've mirrored that. Okay, it already has the corner cut out of it, and that's where my design is supposed to cut. So I'm going to go back to that layer and just move the crossover to the other corner. So now I have it where it's going to cut up in this corner. Now, this pretty side, this is actually the clear transfer sheet, and you can see the vinyl through it. So you are going to cut on this back side. And even though we think of this as being the top of the mat, this bottom side can be the top too. And it is less worn on that end, so that's why I'm using that end. Okay, if we did everything right, we're done with the machine, so let me get that out of the way. So I'm just going to cut tightly around the part that I'm actually using. Okay, so you can see the cut through the carrier sheet side, but turn it over and just grab the vinyl up in the corner and then lift it up. Heat transfer vinyl typically weeds just beautifully, very easy to weed. Okay, so there's my cross. Okay, so I want to leave my little striping around the edge. So I need to be sure I don't break into that or cut into that. So the first thing that's going to come off is just a little bit around the outside. Okay, I don't want to waste this little strip, so let me just cut along here. I can use that for something. Okay, now we need to start weeding inside the little box or the frame, the thing that's going to help me lay it down on my canvas board. There we go. And there's my cute little bunny. Okay, so we got all of the outside things, but we need to get out the insides of our letters. Now, when you think you're done weeding, turn it over and look at it. And see how I have a little stray piece there? That would show up on your project. I have another one right here. And I have one right here. So just take your time. Okay, that looks good. So let's bring our canvas piece back in. And now you can see how these little lines around it, or how this little frame around it, is going to help me line it up just right. The white is just outside of the canvas, so even if I didn't peel the white off, oops, look, I have a stray right there, but it's on top. Even if I didn't peel the white off, it wouldn't be on my canvas board because it's just slightly outside my canvas board. And then here's my cross, and I can lift up this corner because this has to go down first. It's under my word reason, and I have it lining up just outside of the corner. Get it as straight as I can. It's not as easy when you just have one corner, but I didn't want to waste all of the vinyl that would have been in there. So I like that, but I'm going to move it over. I want it a little bit more under this part of the S. So I'll just move it ever so slightly. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. All right, one more little move. Okay, hopefully that's it. Yes, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press that down just a little bit because this is slightly tacky. The back of this is slightly tacky. It'll hold it in place. And then while I press this, I'm going to leave this layer here, but I'm going to fold it back. So I'll just lay something on it, like my scissors, to hold it back. Now, let me get my easy press heating. Okay, I'm going to start with the cross because that's the back side of my design. And I'm going to use my little Easy Press Mini because I want just to have the heat on the part of the cross where there's where there's a carrier sheet. So I don't know if this is going to work. Foil doesn't always work on everything. Even though they say that everyday iron-on is compatible with wood, and this isn't wood, this is a canvas board that's been painted, they say foil is not compatible with it. And I did try a project once that they said what I was using wasn't compatible with whatever my surface was. And I thought, oh, I'll try it anyway, and they were right. It would not stick to it. So we'll see what we get. I'm not going to press real long because this will get a second pressing. Okay, let's see if this is going to stick or not. Oh, good, it is. Awesome. And it didn't change the color of my paint. I was a little bit concerned about that. So now I can lay my white layer down over it. And I think that looks good. So I am just going to leave the white on because it really is not touching the canvas anywhere. Now I need a bigger surface than this little mat. As far as helping to transfer heat, I don't know that since I'm going through this thick canvas board, if the Easy Press mat actually helps at all, but it is at least going to protect my table from getting burned. Now, if you're wondering, I had my Easy Press Mini on medium heat, and you saw how long I pressed it, maybe a total of, I don't know, 15 seconds. I was moving it around. Now for this, I have my Easy Press 2 set at 300, and I'm going to start with just 5 seconds and see if it will adhere in that amount of time. If it does, I'll take the carrier sheet off, put this back on it, and do it for 5 more seconds. And I really wasn't putting any pressure on it. That's working beautifully. Now just go slow in case something's not as adhered. You don't want to pull it up and cause the vinyl to shift. Okay, so I see the bunny head trying to lift a little bit. So let's go ahead and do it for about 5 more seconds. Nope, bunny just doesn't want to come off. Okay, that did the trick. I would assume, and look, my J did the same thing. It popped up. Isn't that cute? Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do it just for a little bit longer. Let me check this out. Let me show it to you. Ooh, that's pretty. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to turn it. I wanted the material to take on the texture of the canvas. And if it's showing up well on film, the foil definitely did. And I can see some of the texture through some of the letters. I see it a little bit, whoops, through the bunny. Now you can see on his little ear, that's where I lifted it and didn't get it set down perfectly. It looks fine, but there is a tiny little crease in there. I might be able to work that out, kind of melt it in basically. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to do it for 10 seconds. Now, let's just check that bunny ear out. And I still see it a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be able to work it out now. That's what makes crafting fun, right? The adventures. Okay, so the little bunny ear is not 100% perfect, but it is pretty darn close. And I see the texture through the bunny and the letters and the cross. So I am really happy with that. I really like this iron-on the canvas board. I hadn't done it before. One I've done in the past because I don't really like just adhesive vinyl on it because it doesn't truly take on the texture of the board, and you can tell it's laying on top. When I've made signs, I've cut out a stencil out of vinyl, and then I've painted inside the stencil, removed the stencil, and I have the paint. But this is so fast and so easy, and so I think this is my new go-to method for making a little sign, especially a sign that's coming out for part of the year. Now, if I wanted to have a sign, say, in my kitchen that looked very professional, Maybe I would still paint it. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I'm going to try some more of these. I'm going to try some on wood, try some on fabric canvas. This is gorgeous. And it was fast and easy. As far as hanging this sign, I could either put some twine or ribbon and just hot glue it to the back and hang it from that. Or if I want to put it in a frame, since it is just a canvas board, it's very thin and it would fit in a frame. I'm not sure what I'll do yet, but there are a lot of possibilities. And again, you could really cute that up with a ribbon. I don't actually own a lot of ribbon, but I do have this twine, and you could just glue that to the back. I think that would be cute to hang it from. Or I have this little ribbon that it's more opaque on the edges of it, and then the middle is more transparent. And I think that is close enough to the color of the project that I could use that. And then lastly, I have this buffalo check ribbon, just a real small buffalo check ribbon. I used it in my Christmas ornaments, my Ray Dunn inspired Christmas ornaments, if you saw that video. And it's real thin. It's not chunky like this, but this would at least give you an idea. If you had buffalo check ribbon up here, that kind of would be cute as well. Or I might actually lean it against something and just have it leaned up for now. But really, it's your taste. The possibilities are endless. So have fun with it. Do what makes you feel good. Now, if there's anything in my video that helped you or inspired you, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. And if you'd like to see what I'll be working on in the future, hit the subscribe button. If you also tap the bell, YouTube should notify you when I upload new content. Thanks for joining me. I'm Marilyn. Bye-bye.